3 goals in 4 games. The masked magician has finally been unlocked. Well, I hope so anyway. But what a performance. 4-0, 4 different goal scorers, and blasted Leeds out the park. Before we go into some bad parts and good parts about the game, just want to say I really appreciate you all. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, make sure you hit the like button, and make sure you comment down below about how you think the performance went today. But yeah, I couldn't be more psyched for his victory. Arsenal coming into this game, obviously on the back of their loss against Man United, this was that redemption game. Now, I've used the word redemption a few times this season, but again, we're not going to have a perfect season. This isn't Invincibles, but we can still walk away with some silverware. We don't have many games left in the Premier League season. 15 games or so, probably less now. And we have a few games in the Champions League to reach the final. I think 5, I believe, and a couple games in the Carabao Cup and FA Cup. But this is a very important victory before we head down to Emirates and play against Chelsea. Victor Gyökeres, interesting game he had today, and it was interesting for the right reasons. Not only did he score, not only was he making runs, he was also defending as well. I think Gyökeres with Havertz on the pitch is different. I think we can all feel that vibe. He's very different with Havertz on the pitch. And I don't know if it's because of the presence or what, but they do seem to have a good link up. Now, of course, Havertz didn't assist Gyökeres. I don't mean that at all, but you can see how high Arsenal are pushing when they have the likes of Gyökeres and Havertz in that starting lineup. With the addition of our left back returning, Calafiori, it was easy to see that Arsenal can transition from their formations, and it suffocated Leeds to a point where they had to make mistakes. And obviously, speaking of mistakes, own goals. Now, online, there's a stat going around that we've got more own goals than goals scored by players. Obviously, that's level now because Gyökeres just scored. But the thing is, I don't believe it's a bad thing. If a team scores an own goal, is that really your fault as a team? We're not living off those scraps. And if we take away that own goal, we still would have won 3-0 anyway. I think own goals come from a lack of concentration, constant pressure. Obviously, it's a mistake. No player wants to ever score an own goal. But, I mean, if teams are scoring own goals, it's not a fault of Arsenal's. It's just how we play. And if we win the Premier League because we scored the most, well, because we've had the most own goals, then so be it. I just care about the silverware. No one's going to remember in 5 years' time they only won the title because of the own goals. No. We always get remembered for being second place for the last 3 seasons. So just think about that for a minute. But Saka's injury. Unfortunately, in the warm-up, he had an injury. And I think a lot of fans, even myself, are like, oh man, here we go again. Hopefully it's not long-term. But again, without Saka, because of all the depth we have, Madueke stepped in. And I think Madueke had a really decent game. He's running at players like he always does and like I always say. And before he came off, we had a comfortable lead. Trossard also had an exceptional game as well. Zubimendi, I think after that game he had against Man United where he gave the goal away, he's the one that started that ball rolling with that lovely header. And you know what? There was one play he got, I think, from Madueke, where he cut in on his right foot. He could have had a shot, actually. Could have scored 2, but he decided to pass. But, I mean, Zubimendi, games like this is why you see why he's in the Arsenal team. And I know he makes mistakes, and I've said it in the past, but I think we do need to cut him some slack. When he scores against teams like Leeds or, when he wins aerial balls, he's someone that you have to really, clap your hands to because it's his first season. He's come from a very slow league, like Spanish league is very technical, all about passing, and it's very physical, the Premier League. And I think he's adjusted well. And I think if the season ended today, I'll be happy with Zubimendi's numbers. He's got more goals than some of the strikers in the Premier League. But anyway, I think overall performance-wise, we didn't score any goals, didn't concede. We scored goals, but we didn't concede any goals. And that just shows you when we have our full healthy defence, it's very, very hard to penetrate. David Raya had hardly anything to do in comparison to that Man United game, of course. But Arsenal needed this victory. We needed that 4-0 win. Martinelli coming on the right side, I mean, he's looking electric. He's got an assist today. Ødegaard came on, had an assist. And I think because Havertz is playing well in the last 2 games, I'd say he had a decent game today, but I think because he's playing well in that midfield role, even when there's subs, it's like, okay, now we got a problem. Because Havertz, Gyökeres and Gabby Jesus were the options up front. Now that Havertz is kind of playing in that midfield role, and he's actually doing a decent job, I think, in his last 2 games, it's like, who do you replace him with when obviously you need to give him a break or take him off? It's like Odegaard or Eze. Obviously, Eze went on to the left side because Trossard was subbed as Martinez playing on the right, but it's like we're spoilt for choice almost. And then you think, yeah, someone's going to be suffering when it comes to their game time. I think Odegaard obviously Odegaard playing, we have the highest win percentage. Some fans are probably shocked by that. I am a little bit, but I think when both Eze and Odegaard were off the pitch and Havertz was on, I mean, look how many goals we had before Odegaard entered the game. That's the only thing that I'm thinking about is when Odegaard's on the pitch or Eze, are we scoring that many goals? I mean, we haven't seen it for a long time. I know when Eze played against Tottenham, he got a hat-trick, but before Odegaard entered the pitch, we looked very comfortable and we had a big cushion. So there's a lot of things that Arteta thinks about in terms of who to bring on, as well as us fans. But I think overall, what an amazing victory, something we definitely needed. Another person that I think played outstanding was Yuri and Timber. He gave some wicked crosses in. I gave one cross to Gabby Jesus, who, I mean, headed it, and it was just a great save, you know, because it had a lot of power on it. Gabby Jesus as well, speaking about him, I mean, look, he's coming on, he's taking his opportunities. You know, he scored 2 against Inter. He got 1 today, and his goal today was world class. You know, to hold up the ball, pull it back, pull it forward, quickly pop it in. It's something you want to see. You know, you got Gyökeres scoring, you got Jesus scoring, you've got your wingers scoring, you've got a centre mid, Zubimendi scoring. I feel like we could have won by a bigger margin, but I mean, yeah, we haven't seen a 4-0 victory in a long time with a clean sheet. So I feel like the squad we have now with all the, you know, players coming back from injury, obviously some are dropping off as well, like Saka, which we hope is not long term. We know Mikel Merino's got a foot injury. We just need to keep this going. We've got 14 games, I believe, now in the Premier League. You know, it's all about how consistent you are. And I think Arsenal are showing finally that they're consistent. I don't want to eat my words up on Tuesday when we play against Chelsea, but I think for now, Arsenal are looking really solid. And I think a lot of teams are scared of Arsenal and how they've been playing. And I think Man City also need to know they need to be consistent now. So, again, a 7-point cushion. We'll see what happens with City. Who knows? They could draw. They could lose. We don't know. Man City, we don't know what type of Man City you're going to get, just like Man United, because they've been losing. They lost 4 games on the trot at one point in the season, but they're starting to win. But again, you know, you never know what can happen. I deem this game to be 1-0, and then we end up winning 4-0. Like I said, that's what I love about the Premier League. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know who's going to be walking away with the victory or draw. Some games that we feel like we're going to blow teams out the park don't end up happening. And that's why this league is amazing. You know, the Premier League is always fluctuating in terms of points and moving spots. But Arsenal have been consistent. And we need to make sure that we do the same job against Chelsea on Tuesday. So make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Look out for our pre-match prediction against Chelsea. Unfortunately, Asim isn't here today, but he'll be joining me for that. And also, with the Chelsea game, we'll be doing a live watch-along, and we'll be starting around about 7:45 p.m. So make sure you tune into that. And like always, we appreciate you. Help us grow this channel. Help us get in the algorithm. Drop a like, drop a comment, and smash that subscribe button. Till next time.